I'll quickly report the situation in Iran and list the changes in Jiangxi's wall. U.S. Central Command is reportedly planning strikes on Iranian infrastructure, and the U.S. Army is reviewing control of the Hormuz Strait. President Trump is scheduled to be briefed today on new airstrike plans against Iran. A Washington Post report says the Gerald R. Ford aircraft carrier will leave the Middle East and return to the U.S. in a few days. The Ford has been deployed for a 10-month mission and, as of Wednesday, has spent 309 days at sea, which sets a new record for the longest operational deployment. According to the Washington Post, the Ford will return to Virginia around mid-May. Currently, the Iranian regime is controlled by hardliners. Commander Ahmad Vahidi, leader of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, has taken control of Iran. Major General Ahmad Vahidi refuses to concede Iran's control over the Strait of Hormuz or its nuclear program. On April 27, the Iranian delegation told Pakistani mediators they were unhappy with the lack of Iranian nuclear concessions in President Trump's April 26 three-stage plan and would consult Supreme Leader Mujtaba Khamenei before offering a revised proposal. According to Iran International, the only person currently able to contact Mujtaba Khamenei is Commander Ahmad Vahidi. In fact, it seems that Ahmad Vahidi's intentions are the most important. In fact, Iran has decided not to discuss the nuclear issue until the maritime blockade is lifted, which was also a demand made by Commander Ahmad Vahidi. This is also a good example of how much influence Commander Vahidi has within Iran. Above all, according to a Reuters report, the assessment was that Mujtaba Khamenei does not seem to have as much stature as his father, Ali Khamenei. It was also assessed that he does not seem to be able to play the role of mediator properly in internal disputes. As a result, the influence of the hardliner Commander Vahidi is only continuing to grow. On top of that, even ultra-hardliners have emerged within Iran, and Saeed Jalili, a member of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, is maintaining an even tougher stance on negotiations. These ultra-hardliners are taking a stance of outright rejecting negotiations altogether. In Iran, the hardliners are gaining more power, and as a result, the moderate Speaker Ghalibaf seems to have effectively lost his influence. The U.S. Institute for the Study of War found that moderates, who once prioritized Iran's economy such as President Pezeshkian, now appear unable to make decisions. Internet shutdowns by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard are also disrupting information flow to key figures. In addition, Iran is continuing discussions with Oman and appears to be trying to push forward a plan to collect tolls in the Strait of Hormuz. They are asking Oman to join them in collecting these tolls. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi reportedly visited Oman and proposed dividing administrative control of the strait. However, Oman rejected this, citing freedom of navigation. Iranian leaders are reportedly preparing for emergencies and risks caused by their hardline stance, which hasn't eased Iran's economic and military pressures. If negotiations stall, outcomes like economic instability from economic collapse, a prolonged blockade, or renewed US and Israeli airstrikes could trigger a serious crisis for the Iranian regime. These scenarios could all occur at once, and they are reportedly preparing for it. Above all, as Iran faces increasing economic pressure from war, sanctions, and blockades, it seems to be focusing on strengthening internal unity. On April 29th, the rial reached an all-time low. Iran International reported that an April 28th intelligence analysis indicated protests might soon resume, prompting Zolgadar, Commander Beatty's close aide, to call an emergency meeting. If the meeting happened, it could show public opinion in Iran is being strongly affected. Speaker of the Parliament Ghalibaf released a voice message through IRIB, which is unusual since only the audio was made public. Speaker Ghalibaf said the US aims to pressure Iran economically with a maritime blockade and promote internal division to force Iran to meet US demands. Speaker Ghalibaf's message seems aimed at uniting people against external enemies and deflecting blame onto the United States to prevent public anger over Iran's economic crisis. Speaker Ghalibaf said the blockade will likely continue until Iran and the United States agree. Speaker Ghalibaf seems to have made such remarks to psychologically prepare the Iranian people for the fact that the economic situation will not improve in the near future. Currently, Iran is also said to be seeking alternatives to bypass the port blockade imposed by the United States. Dafah Press, under the Iranian General Staff, stated on April 29 that Iran could seize American merchant ships or vessels linked to Israel in retaliation for the United States seizing several Iranian ships that violated the US blockade. In fact, Iran has even attempted attacks using ships. Dafah Press also noted that Iran could bypass the US port blockade by trading essential and strategic goods with Caspian littoral states. This remark is getting more attention because Foreign Minister Abbasara made it while visiting Russia. He once again mentioned the possibility of blocking the Red Sea, saying that this would increase the cost burden on the United States and Israel. The US Institute for the Study of War says it's unlikely the Houthi rebels can block the Red Sea. There have been clashes between the Iranian military and terrorists in Iran's northwest and southeast border regions. In Kurdistan province, northwestern Iran, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard killed 4 terrorists and seized weapons and communication gear. In Rask, Sistan, and Baluchistan province, suspected Movarjun People's Front forces attacked an Iranian Revolutionary Guard vehicle. These Baluchi anti-government groups operate in southeastern Iran. In Zahedan, Sistan, and Baluchistan province, suspected Movarjun People's Front fighters killed 2 law enforcement command officers. In Iranshar, Sistan, and Baluchistan province, law enforcement command officers exchanged gunfire with Movarjun People's Front fighters, killing 2, injuring 2, and seizing their weapons. According to Israeli media, Israeli leaders have requested that the temporary ceasefire in Lebanon, brokered by the United States, not be extended beyond its scheduled expiration date of May 17. The Israeli government has reportedly asked President Trump to approve expanded military operations in Lebanon if negotiations with the Lebanese government fail by May 17. The Israeli military still occasionally conducts airstrikes on Lebanon, including one on April 28 that killed 3 Lebanese civil defense members. If there are more updates, I'll make and upload a video. This concludes the video. Thank you.
Ja.